Friends of fine watchmaking, have you ever stood in front of a few Cartier Santos and thought, wait a minute, don't they look all the same? I'm talking about the Cartier Santos Carrée and its elegant sister, the Galbée. Same DNA, same name, but completely different watches. If you have ever wondered why one is as edgy as a sports car from the 70s and the other as sleek as a James Bond tuxedo, then you have come to the right place. Today we explain why these two models may be twins, but they were definitely not carved from the same wood. Let's get started, and I promise you, afterwards you will recognize every detail that distinguish these two icons. The overall design of the Santos stands for four things: Roman numerals, piano-style minute track, sword hands, and a daring case design. And although they are all so similar, there are still differences, be it in the design of the bracelets, difference in the case sizes, automatic movement or quartz, the position of the date, the choice of the material, the differences in the dial design. Even models with moon phase complications were available. But one detail in the variety of these watches is particularly striking: the shape of the case and the bracelet. There are flat and curved cases and bracelets. But before we go into the detail, let's briefly cover the basics. Aviation pioneer Alberto Santos Dumont is annoyed. Why? Because pocket watches are about as practical in aviation as sandals are for skiing. So he turned to his friend Louis Cartier, who promptly designed the first wristwatch for men, the Santos. But then came 1978, and Cartier had the glorious idea, hey, let's reinvent the Santos. And out came the Santos Carrée. Square, striking, modern, the perfect watch for the disco era. And the Carrée was offered exclusively with an automatic movement. In the 1980s, in 1987 to be precise, when everything became a bit more rounded, Cartier then said, okay, well, take the iconic design but give it more elegance. That's how the Cartier Santos Galbée was born, with softer, more curved shapes. It was the first Santos with a quartz movement. But why quartz? Why the hell did Cartier, the master of elegance and tradition, opt for a quartz movement for the Santos Galbée? Well, the 80s were a wild time. Disco, shoulder pads, and the world of watches was in a total state of emergency. The quartz crisis that began in the 1970s had completely changed the watch world. Suddenly, there were super accurate, inexpensive, and low maintenance quartz watches that gave mechanical movements a run for their money. And now imagine you are Cartier. Your customers love luxury, but they also want to be modern. Watches that run accurately without being consistently wound? Yes, please. And so the Santos Galbée took the stage. Elegant, modern, and with a quartz movement that perfectly matched its flowing, sleek shape. Quartz simply was modern. In the 1980s, quartz was the epitome of progress. Accuracy without effort. It was like a Ferrari that never need refueling. But enough history now for the exciting details. The biggest difference between a Santos Carrée and the Santos Galbée is the case. The Carrée is French for square, lives up to its name. The Carrée is the clear rebel, an angular square case, sharp lines, as self-confident as an 80s sports car. The edges are steep. The watch sits on the wrist like a statement. Here I am. The Galbée, on the other hand, and there comes the second little French lesson, Galbée means curved or smooth. So the case is rounded, the edges flow more gently, almost like a wave. This makes it look more elegant on the wrist, like a tailored suit. The Carrée is almost flat, completely straight. The Galbée, this is where the curve comes into play. It may not look spectacular at first glance, but it feels completely different on the wrist. So, Carrée for those who like clean lines, Galbée for those who want more elegance. In short, the Carrée is like a rock concert, the Galbée like a jazz evening. Now for the bezel, the thing that sits like a frame around the dial. On the Santos Carrée, the bezel is flat, wide and straight. It makes a statement on the watch. Minimalist, but present. The Galbée goes a step further. Its bezel is slightly curved and almost hugs the case. This makes the watch look more charming and a little bit more luxurious. The difference is subtle, but like a good wine, connoisseurs will see it immediately. Let's move on to the coolest details, the bracelets. Let's start with the obvious, the design. At first glance, both bracelets look quite similar. Gold, same size, and of course, the visible screws, a true trademark. Cartier has clearly stated here, we show what we have. But watch out, the shape of the links is different. The bracelet on the Cartier Santos Carrée is more substantial. The links of the Carré bracelet are flat and look more technical, almost industrial. It perfectly matches the angular look. It looks robust, almost like a futuristic 1970s chain, bold and unmistakable. The Galbée, on the other hand, has gently curved links that look more flowing and nestle more comfortably on the wrist. It almost seems as if the bracelet is melting into your wrist. The difference is also clearly visible when you look at the underside of two bracelets. A completely different workmanship. The next interesting or exciting question is, how does both watches feel on the wrist? The Santos Carrée is striking and appears larger even in smaller sizes. It makes a statement, a watch for people who want to stand out. The Santos Galbée, on the other hand, is more discreet and fits better thanks to its curved case. It is the understated watch, elegant but not exaggerated. At the end of the day, we love both designs, one for its edges, the other for its curves. The Santos Carrée is a classic from the 70s, a statement piece for watch lovers. The Santos Galbée, an 80s masterpiece, perfect for those who want something a little more discreet. So, which one is your Santos? The edgy Carrée or the elegant Galbée? Let me know in the comments. Both watches are icons. Both have their place in Cartier history. But it's precisely these little details that make the difference. If you liked this video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell. Because the world of watches has so much more to offer. I'm Felix, see you in the next video, take care and stay timeless.